Bitcoin is going absolutely bonkers, but what is the substance? What is causing this pump? Is it sustainable, right? Is it a bona fide crypto catalyst? And I definitely think you should be cautious. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys are doing very, very well. This is Altcoin Media. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell too, so you don't miss any of the actual updates, because what we're about to talk about, it's really interesting what we have here. And I'm going to bring up Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and zone in, and then we'll get into the alt market in a little bit. And then we'll talk about what's going on, because I got a couple of clips I want to share with you, because what's happening here, and this looks beautiful. This is what I want to talk about, because we're up almost 25% within a week when it comes to Bitcoin. ETH is following as well. We'll look at the alts in a minute, but what's going on here, I think you need to understand what's going on. And this is not a bona fide crypto catalyst. And this is what I would like it to be. It's not. There's not a blockchain catalyst here. That's not a crypto coin or token catalyst, a sector catalyst, none of that. This has a lot to do with what's going on with the Treasury Department and what is going on with Trump. We have the crypto summit, if you will. A lot of blockchain devs were behind Trump during that speech. I showed you that in the last video I did. I think the member video, you guys saw that. This was not a crypto catalyst. This had a lot to do with a lot of actual added manipulation, if you will. I'm just going to call it that, because what you're seeing happening with Bitcoin is exactly what's happening in the oil market. A lot of manipulation. Okay. So we have derivatives involved here as well. Big time short squeeze. We had some longs that actually got squeezed as well. Across the board, it's really, really bizarre what I'm seeing here, but it is producing an $80,000 Bitcoin. Now, I don't think it's going to get above 80K. There's just not a lot of substance there. We need a bona fide catalyst to push us to 100K. So I don't think we're going to get there, but I want you to listen to what Scott Bessent is doing, because this has a lot to do with what's going on. And you can couple that with the Trump summit, is what I like to call it, when the crypto devs were behind him, when he gave that glorious speech about buying more Bitcoin, putting in a strategic reserve, and also the actual pushing of the Clarity Act notion. And we're going to get into what Senator Loomis has said about that, because I don't think we're going to get that. So just to expand on this particular clip, because this is what's really pumping the markets across the board. Now, here's the headline, and we're going to get into a lot of remarks too, because a lot of people are saying this is basically going to be short-lived and it's going to cause a collapse. You know, the bond market is going to completely implode at this point in time, but that's going to be very negative for not only crypto, not only Bitcoin and the money that's actually flowing in, because this is going to reverse itself, right? But the stock market as well. So here's the headline. U.S. Treasuries could use up to $935 billion, right, in cash. And we're talking about a stockpile to fund expanded bond buybacks rather than relying on solely new short-term debt issuances. And this is the thing, nobody wants the bonds. They already had a fire sale. No one came to the sale. No one wants it. So we essentially have to buy our own debt. And this is not good. This is not good, but this is what's happening. This is a last ditch effort to save what I would call a stable bond market. But this is what the reaction is.
Well, I call this the Bessent put, Sazi. This is, you've heard of the Fed put. This is the equivalent of the Treasury's put. He called it Treasury twist, to try to put a ceiling on bond yields to make sure that consumer borrowing costs don't continue to move higher and the stock market continues to move up. However, I wonder if Pandora's box has been opened here, because yesterday the secretary came out and said, we are willing to buy back more than the $4 billion that we said we would through November in terms of long-term treasuries. So does that mean they're going to go up to $8 billion? Are they going to start reducing the size of auctions for longer dated treasuries? He's trying to take a fire hose essentially to an ocean right now. And that's why we're not seeing as much of a reaction in the bond market.
So the intervention is on the way. We have the crypto summit, which we had a couple of days ago. A lot of blockchain devs were behind Trump when he said we're going to buy more Bitcoin. Buying more Bitcoin is very bullish. A lot of people heard that and they bought that particular rumor, right? And then you have Scott Bessent. He's trying to save the bond market. That is a lot of liquidity, guys. It's going to go out the back door if that doesn't work. You heard what the young lady said. Doesn't look very good, but they're going to go ahead and put almost $1 trillion into this actual buyback. And we'll see how it goes. So currently, you're looking at Bitcoin. It is $78,000. We're losing money right now, but it is consolidating pretty hard under 80K. Is it sustainable? I don't think so. Because of what I just told you and because of what you just heard and because of what's going on, it's not substantive. This is not a crypto or a blockchain catalyst. This is major intervention into a lot of liquidity vehicles, and that includes the carry trade, which is unwinding as well. Now, I will tell you this. We're going to pivot to the Clarity Act because I believe that that is our only catalyst. We need that to pass. And if we don't get that, that's going to be very bearish. And you couple that with an imploding bond market, you couple that with the carry trade unwinding, and then geopolitics. I see a massive bleed out occurring later in this fourth quarter of this year.
The banks want changes to the Genius Act, which was the stablecoin bill that passed last summer. They want the changes in the Clarity Act. And so they've been working hard on the Republican side of the aisle to scuttle our bill until they get what they want. Now, Senator Tillis on our side and Senator also Brooks, whose praises I wish to sing, she is a legislator's legislator, they came up with a compromise with the banks, with their lobbyists. The banks later fired their lobbyists and now want a do-over because they didn't get everything they wanted.
So I'm looking at this video and I'm looking at Tim Scott and he's smirking when she mentions the bank. And Senator Loomis, she's tired. She's done with all the fighting. The banks are going to win this battle. And I don't think we're going to get the Clarity Act. And honestly, guys, I think that's the only bona fide catalyst that we could have that could sustain not only a $80,000 Bitcoin, but maybe a $90,000, $95,000 Bitcoin, maybe even 100K. We're going to need the Clarity Act. That's the only way we're going to get that extra money flowing into the actual cryptocurrency space so we can move this global market cap up above 3 trillion. That is the only catalyst. What you're looking at now and what we're seeing with the Bitcoin summit, with the actual speech from Trump last week, and then Bessent's intervention when it comes to the bond market to actually stabilize these markets, that's just a lot of hope that's coming in via the ETF vehicles into Bitcoin. This is why we're seeing 78, 79, 80K, right? This is why we're seeing this pump. It has nothing to do with any type of developments in cryptocurrency or blockchain technology. A lot of these alts that are actually moving, they're moving because Bitcoin and Ethereum is moving, not because of something substantive that is happening within these said projects and ecosystems. And that's what bothers me about this pump. And this is why you should be very cautious. So let me know what you think about the report. Be careful with your portfolio. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section. What are you noticing that may be pretty bearish as well? I want to know what you're thinking, and I will catch you on the next video.